Okay, so we've come to part 5. This is the part where we are going to be attaching your now 2 made mandalas together to form a bag. We're going to take those 2 strings on either side that we used to make the circles with, okay? And you're going to sort of just like lay them together, like one going, or use 2 going one way and 2 going the other way. I'm just kind of demonstrating with my hands to make it like so. How wide it is right now doesn't matter. All we're going to be doing is adding our strings. So I have my very long strings. I can't remember the centimeters while I'm speaking, but I'll put it on the screen. You're going to take the first one, and we're going to do a vertical clove hitch so that we have half of the string going up and half of the string going down. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to do half and half. So these 4 strings that we're knotting onto right now is the middle, will become the middle row of the whole thing. So I like to do half and half going one way, half going the other way. In this case, half going down, half going up, or however way you want to say it. So I'm adding 14 strings to my project to make it the width that I want to. The thing about this now is you can make it super narrow, you can make it super wide. However wide you want to make it, it really doesn't even matter. The part that matters is that you're using all of the 4 strings and you're knotting that vertical hitch, and you have 1 string going up and 1 string going down, and then we will start making the middle section, which is basically taking strings from one side of the bag, knotting row, tying it off, strings from the opposite bag, making a row, tying it off, and knotting on. So what's going to wind up happening is we're going to take 2 strings, make a row, and use 1 string on the opposite side. So each row is going to take up 3 strings from the mandala bag. This is going to make it the rows in the middle look nice and neat and not crinkly or wavy or anything odd. So just keep watching. For now, all I'm going to do is I've decided to use 14 strings for my project. And you just keep adding them on in the same way, using the clove hitch, vertical clove hitch, I guess, and just keep adding them on. And I will be back when it's time to start making rows. Okay, thank you. Okay, so at this point now we've attached all of our strings. Take those two strings that we were knotting onto and pull them tightly together. I have to take my pins out so I can do this. So they're as close together as possible. And then you can just take those two strings and just like tuck them under, put them aside. I'll use them when I like flip it inside out and tie everything off. I like to do that at the end. All right, so just take the first few strings that we're gonna start our start to make the middle section with. Sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied. We just need a few to start with. The rest you can tuck away, tuck under, just to get them out of your row, just to make it all nice and neat, to give yourself like a workspace that isn't too messy. I'm just taking a few out and trying to tuck the rest away, so I know I'm only working with the few at the beginning. Okay, and then you're just gonna want to pin everything down so it's nice and secure. Okay. Sorry, I'm still fiddling. All right, so I have 14 strings that I just added, those dark purple ones, okay? Now it just so happens that my first two strings that I'm gonna start going across with are dark purple also. That's unfortunate for the video, but it's just the way it is. So we're gonna take the first two strings from the left side, the very first two strings right under the two strings that we added onto. I'm trying to show you with my finger here. We're taking two, and we're gonna use the strings that we added, tie double knots to make your first row. I'm not counting the middle row as a row for these counts. Alright, so I'm making my first knot. Now you're going to have to bear with me because my strings are kind of long. You need them to be long because not only are we going to make many rows of this, we may also need some of that string to create either a strap or some type of basket weave closure that goes over the top of it. I'm not quite sure how I want to do it yet. There are multiple things that you can do. Alright, so now that's the second string, and we're just going to do this until you get all the way to the right side. So I started with two strings from the left side of the mandala, and I'm making a row with the 14 strings that I added in the middle. And I added those 14 strings onto the string I used to make those two rows of circle. It was really one long string, but it turns into two when you come back to the starting point. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going very slowly to show you what this process looks like and entails and the time that it actually takes. Do, 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 do. So yeah, I believe that the 14 strings that we're working with right now, I believe I made them 300 centimeters long because I knew I wanted to do half going one way and half going the other. So everything I'm showing you now in this video, creating these rows, is only half of it. and then you'll have to flip it around and do the same thing on the other side with the 14 strings that are pointed up in the video at the moment that we're not using. Not to scare you early on, but I wound up making 52 rows on one half and another 52 rows on the second half. And then when you do count the middle row, that's the starting point, it's 105 in total. So 52 on one side, 52 on the other, 104 plus the middle makes 105. It seems like a lot, but it goes faster than you think. Okay, so that was my last 14th string. Now I'm going to take the very first string from the left side, right? And I'm not going to do anything special. I'm just going to simply knot it with a double knot, just like we were doing before. So those two strings that we knotted onto, take the first string and just simply make a double knot. Now don't worry, once we tuck it under like I'm about to do, you're not going to see that pink part. It's only going to be the dark purple that's being shown. So you tuck it under and you kind of move your piece just a little bit so that you don't see that, so that you're only seeing the 14 strings that are becoming our middle section. Now from the left side, you're going to take the next two strings. Again, these happen to be dark purple. Okay. Two strings. Make sure that you're doing two across, tie one, then two across, tie one, and so on and so on. And this is going to give you the best shot at making it like really like neat looking, like tidy, I guess is a good way to put it. So then you just start going from the left towards the right, now doing the exact same thing, knotting all 14 strings onto those two new chords. So I'm really showing it in slow motion so that you guys get the idea. But after I show the first two rows, then it's just, you know, a repetition, and I'm not going to explain. I'm probably just gonna play some music or something. You guys can keep watching if you want. But the important part is this part right here, this section here that I'm doing. It's taking two, going across, tying it off with one. So each row really consists of 3 strings from the mandala, 2 from one side, then tie it with one, then the next 2 down, going across the opposite direction, and it's just so repetitive at this point. You're going to be doing this for a little while. I want to get to the end of this row. In real time, so you guys can really make sure that you understand how I tying it off and then tucking it under. Okay, last one on the second row, going the opposite direction we did the first row, and you find the very next string from the mandala, and you tie just a standard double knot as if it's going on to that row. And the magic is that when you tuck those 3 strings underneath and sort of squeeze it a little bit, you don't see it at all. So all you're going to see is the dark purple. And here I am taking the next 2 down, and we're going to go across, tie it off with 1, tuck it under, take the next 2 down, go across, and you just keep going like that. In my videos in my project, I did 52 rows, like I mentioned already, but you don't have to make it that many. It depends on how wide you want your opening to be, and I guess when I get to that next part, you will see exactly what I mean. When we figure out how we're gonna like close this thing up, either make a strap or some type of closing. I haven't even actually filmed that part yet, so when we get to it, we'll figure that out. So for now, that's it. You just keep repeating what I did. If your project is done like mine, if you use the exact same number of strings, if you've made the exact same number of petals and everything else, 52 was my magic number, but again, that can be your choice. But watch all the way to the end and you'll see why I chose the number that I chose. I do a little short film where I show you to the point where I stopped at. All right, so that's it for now. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.